Hey everybody, I wanted to make this video to go over these documents today. They won't be the easiest, so I wanted to read through them and give you some hints for the questions. So we're looking at Mexican immigration, or Mexican Americans immigrating from America back to Mexico during the 1930s due to the Great Depression that's going on. So this first one, document A, American Federation of Labor. This document is an excerpt from testimony Edward F. McGrady gave before Congress on June 20th, 1932. McGrady was a representative of the American Federation of Labor, one of the country's largest labor unions. So right there, if I was to highlight that, right? He is part of a huge union. Congress was considering a bill that would increase employment by funding construction projects. So in a nutshell, they were going to put people back to work. And he says here, now, what is the situation? In the last 2 weeks, there have been 287,000 men and women thrown out on the streets without jobs. At this very hour today, according to the most conservative figures, there are 10,867,000 people walking the streets. That sounds a lot like today. The figures have gone up almost to 11 million without any jobs at all. Have we any hope that the conditions are going to get better? Not at all. Now, what is the situation in recent months industrially? New York State, the factory payrolls fell 10% last month, down to 45% of what they were 3 years ago. Steel production in the Pittsburgh district is at 15% of capacity. 85% of the steel industry is without any work at all. The New York Times Business Activity Index on June 12th showed a new low of 55, meaning that it is 55% normal. Cotton has reached the lowest price in 200 years. Orders on the books of the United States Steel Company are at the lowest point in the company's history after 14 months of consecutive declining. Farm products are selling at 64.8% and 1915 prices, and the tendency is downward. Pig iron production in May was down 60% from May 1931. So what are the problems here? Definitely pay is down, right? Pay is decreasing. And the price for goods is decreasing, which is bad for people who make those goods. So that all signs indicate we are heading into very serious trouble in this country. We are warning the leaders of the nation that they have got to meet this situation adequately just as soon as they can. And certainly, they've got to meet this situation before this Congress is allowed to adjourn. And if they do not meet it adequately and courageously and boldly and intelligently, I say to you, the cry will not to be save the hungry, but the cry next winter will be to save this government of the United States. So what they're predicting is that the government's going to be threatened if they don't do anything, right? People are going to overthrow it. There'll be a revolution like there was in Mexico. They're fearing that sort of, instability here. Let's look at the questions here. Who wrote this document? When was it written? We know it's written by Edward F. McGrady, and it's written in on June 20th, 1932. In this situation, list 2 problems people have been experiencing. We said here, people are losing their jobs. Pay is going down, right? Payrolls fell. And here, the prices are going down. That's for number 2. So for number 3, overall, what does the author predict will happen if these problems are not addressed? Let's look at the end of the document there. I say to you, the cry will not be to save the hungry, but the cry next winter will be to save the government of the United States. They're hinting at a revolution. People are going to overthrow the government. I would put that for number 3. Let's look at the next document, these pictures here. These are taken by Dorothy Lang. The Dust Bowl was a period of severe dust storms that badly damaged agriculture in the U.S. plains in the 1930s. Approximately 3.5 million left the plains. Many of these refugees moved to California. Dorothy Lang, a photographer employed by the Farm Security Administration, took the pictures and wrote the accompanying notes below. This first picture here, it's a photograph by Dorothy Lang taken in March 1935. Her note are drought refugees from Oklahoma looking for work in the pea fields of California near San Jose Mission. So as you can see, they're living in a shack here. Now, if we remember from the 1920s, most of the farm workers in California were Mexicans. So if all of these white people are going into Mexico to look for jobs, there's going to be severe competition for jobs, which is going to lead to racial violence. Photographed by Dorothy Lang, taken in March 1937. Lang's note on the photo: drought refugee families are now mingling with and supplanting. Supplanting means to kick off or take over Mexican field laborers in the Southwest near Chandler, Arizona. So what these might suggest is that with all these white people who are in poverty coming in, who are the farmers going to give jobs to first? Mexicans or the white Americans? In this case, it's going to be white Americans. So Mexican Americans are going to face lots and lots of unemployment. So who took these pictures? Dorothy Lang. When were they taken? 1935 and May 1937. What was the Dust Bowl? The Dust Bowl was a period of severe dust storms that badly damaged agriculture in the U.S. plains in the 1930s. So it caused drought. There's a lack of water. Number 3, from these pictures, list one problem that Mexicans experienced during the 1930s. Unemployment. They're competing with white, poor people for jobs. So there's a good chance if they don't have jobs, they're going to be sent back to Mexico. So we're going to continue with this tomorrow. I hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions.